we have so many things that we must take care of. The border is one of them. And another one is abortion that I hear a lot of people talking about as well. Ted Cruz has an interesting plan for the border, and it's actually one I'm a huge fan of. I don't know how. I suppose this would be totally legal, right? I mean, this would be the way that Ronald Reagan intended the law of asset forfeiture, right?
Yeah. I mean, Ted obviously knows the law better than most people. He'll be able to walk you through it. And my understanding is there is a window there if people would actually get together and vote. If you care about the border, El Chapo, a good reason why you should care about the border.
Right.
It's an interesting proposal.
And his proposal, he is walking up. He just keeps getting stopped by people. He is walking up even as we speak. His proposal is that we take the assets of El Chapo and get them to use those to build the wall. Ted, how are you? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
We were just talking about, I love your idea of El Chapo paying for the wall. Love it.
Well, it is simple common sense. It is, let's use money criminally forfeited from El Chapo, from other drug lords, the billions that they made illegally trafficking across the border, and let's fund and pay for the wall doing that.
He could pay, really, his assets would pay for all of it, wouldn't it?
Potentially. If we could track them all down and find them, they would.
How much do you think we could actually track down?
Well, where the idea came from is this is a little over a year ago when we were debating the wall, and Democrats were complaining it costs too much.
Right.
Now, set aside, I think Democrats have never in the history of the universe thought anything costs too much.
I know.
But at the time, the estimates for the cost of the wall were between $14 and $20 billion. At the very same time, the Department of Justice estimates that El Chapo's global criminal net worth is about $14 billion. And so I saw a natural and even elegant symmetry.
Yeah. Well, that's what asset forfeiture is supposed to be for.
Right. And mind you, this is criminal asset forfeiture.
Correct.
It's not civil forfeiture,
Correct.
which has been abused many times.
Yes.
This is after, in El Chapo's case, he has 10 criminal convictions.
Right.
And look, it's just like if a drug dealer in Dallas has a Ferrari and he gets convicted of being a drug dealer, they seize the Ferrari. That's criminal forfeiture.
Correct.
In this case, El Chapo's got a lot more than a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And there's a justice to using the billions that he made trafficking across our border illegally to prevent the next narco trafficker from doing the same.
So Mike Pence was just speaking here, and he just said, we are going to build the wall. Mark my words, the wall will be built. You agree with that?
I do agree with that. It is going to happen. We're going to get the job done, and I commend the president for standing up and leading in this area.
How is he going to do it?
Well, so there's a lot of focus on the emergency declaration.
And your stance on that is?
Well, let's take it one at a time.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen in the Senate on that.
Yeah.
It is going to be a vigorous discussion the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
But the good news is, regardless of what happens on that, the wall is going to be built. Why? So the president said, and DHS said, they need $5.7 billion. Well, let's do a little bit of math. And I'm sorry, I know math is terrible for radio. So
I know, that's all right.
But let's do a little bit anyway. Congress appropriated $1.4 billion. So available, free and clear, nobody disputes to build the wall. That could build about 50 miles worth of wall. Beyond that, the president has announced that he is going to take about $600 million in drug forfeiture money that he has and use that to build the wall. That takes you to $2 billion, and nobody disputes. He has clear, indisputable legal authority to do that. Beyond that, there's a second provision. It's called 10 U.S.C. Section 284 that gives the Defense Department the ability to expend funds to stop narco traffickers, to stop drug trafficking, and in particular, and it explicitly says in statute, to build fences and border barriers. And so that's in the U.S. Code.
So why are we even debating this national emergency thing? Why is it?
It is a very good question. The fund that statute applies to has about $4 billion in it. The administration has announced they're going to take $2.5 billion from that, so that takes you to about 4.5. If they took another 1.2 from that fund, we'd be at 5.7. We'd be done, and you wouldn't need a penny from the emergency declaration that's causing this big fight.
How do you feel about the emergency declaration?
At this point, I'm reviewing the legal authorities. I'm reviewing the arguments from the administration. I agree that the border is a crisis. I've seen it firsthand. You and I have been down on the border together. It is a crisis. People's lives are being taken. And all of the Democrats and media folks that are saying, oh, it's not a crisis, it's not a big deal.
They claimed it was a humanitarian crisis when Obama was in.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. That being said, as you know, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe every president, Republican or Democrat, has to follow the Constitution and follow the laws. So I'm studying the laws carefully on that. And we're having right now in the Senate a vigorous debate. My hope of where we end up in the outcome is, number one, we build the wall and we get every penny of the $5.7 billion that the president says we need to build the wall. But number two, I hope we don't set a precedent for the next Democratic president to abuse executive power and declare emergencies on global warming and gun control and health care and what have you.
So I was just talking to Bill O'Reilly last hour, and I said, Bill, we are on the edge. Everything that you've talked about, everything I've talked about for the last 15, 20 years, it's here now. And we could see a socialist president, Senate, and House, and they'll take it. They will shut it down.